A man was walking in the woods one day when he saw a bear out of the corner of his eye. He stopped, said a silent prayer. God, I know you can do all things. Will you please make this bear a fellow Christian? The bear caught up to the man, placed his paw on the man's shoulder, and said, Brother, will you pray with me? Dear God, for this meal that I am about to receive, make me truly thankful. This is The Christian Bear with Dr. Ben Hilskamp. Welcome to episode 14 of The Christian Bear. I'm your host, Dr. Ben Hilskamp. Today we're going to pause from talking about belief in the Nicene Creed to address an issue that's ongoing here in Central Ohio. I apologize for my listeners who are in other parts of the country or the world, but this is something we need to talk about. At various Catholic colleges across the United States, there's a movement of centers called Newman Centers. The Newman Center movement, though, provides campus ministry at primarily non-Catholic colleges and universities here in the U.S. One of those Newman Centers, the St. Thomas More Newman Center at Ohio State, has long been a haven for LGBTQIA+ Catholics. In a church that often struggles with what to do with LGBTQIA+ people, the Newman Center has been that haven, has been that respectful, faithful, even courageous location for LGBTQIA+ Catholics in this area to find community without sacrificing their faith. The Newman Center at Ohio State has largely done that through the inspiration and the tireless efforts of the Paulist Fathers. The Paulist Fathers are a religious order of Catholic men, most of whom, if not all of whom, are ordained or in the process of working towards ordination. They are well known throughout the Catholic Church and beyond for their work with digital communications, with writing and resource development, and really going to where people are. They have set up Catholic evangelization centers in malls, in other areas where you typically would not find the Catholic Church. For anyone that's about my age, we remember quite fondly the blog and now podcast Busted Halo as a somewhat at times irreverent but nevertheless very faithful Catholic resource that perhaps wasn't as stuffy as other resources that our parents or grandparents may have proposed. Busted Halo is a ministry of the Paulist Fathers. The Paulists have served as the chaplains and directors of the OSU Newman Center for the last 66 years. However, on June 30th, 2022, this summer, the newly appointed Bishop of Columbus, Earl Fernandez, announced that the Paulists would no longer be serving as the administrators and the chaplains for the Newman Center. That instead, a local priest would be brought in to take on that role. That announcement was met with quite a bit of grief for the community at the Newman Center. Many people had been brought into the church, had been sustained in their Catholic faith as students, and then later as adults. It was a blow for sure. However, that was not to be the only blow. The Newman Center, as a chapel on a college campus, is one of those wonderful ecclesiastical peculiars that pop up every so often in the life and ministry of very formal, very liturgical type churches. Officially speaking, the Newman Center is both a chapel and an oratory. It is not a parish church. It is meant to minister to people in a certain context. In this case, students at The Ohio State University. That said, because of the nature of those students and the fact that Ohio State has over 60,000 students ranging in age from 18 to probably quite advanced ages, the Newman Center inherently ministers to a very wide range of people. They will often celebrate baptisms, confirmations, even first communions, simply because they are the place where families are attending as one or more members of that family pursue education at Ohio State. They bring people into the Catholic Church and therefore celebrate the sacraments as well. They obviously play a very big hand in the lives of Catholic students at Ohio State, and therefore often will celebrate marriages as well. However, at least on paper, they are not meant to be a parish, and they are not, ecclesiastically speaking, a parish. It can be argued that once someone has ceased their affiliation as a student with Ohio State, if they remain in the area, they should seek out another parish to attend. Now, if you've been attending the Newman Center for 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly more years, it's hard to say, well, I'm no longer a student, so therefore I'm going to have to go somewhere else. No, you want to remain with your community, with priests you know, with people you know, with volunteers you know. You may even feel called to work with other college students in the same way that you were mentored and that you were developed and formed as a Christian, as a Catholic. Therefore, the Newman Center has developed what they've referred to as the resident community. And the resident community, while not officially parishioners, because it is not officially a parish, are nevertheless adults who have either become members without a prior affiliation with Ohio State, or have stayed members after graduating from or leaving Ohio State. That resident community has included many LGBTQIA plus people. In addition to removing the Paulist Fathers from their ministry at the Newman Center, Bishop Fernandez further stated that it is his desire that this resident community be better served by local parishes, to the point of denying a baptism for a child because that child's parents were part of this resident community. Thankfully, another Catholic parish jumped in and was able to take that baptism and minister to that family, but still a large group of people who see themselves as members and parishioners of the Newman Center, have been told essentially you need to find a new home. On August 16th, the Instagram account for Buckeye Catholic, in other words, the Newman Center, posted pictures of two students painting over the welcome sign at the Newman Center in gray paint. That welcome sign used to read, "All are welcome." In the last picture that was posted, the sign no longer read, "All are welcome." Indeed, the part of the sign that once said "All is welcome," or "All are welcome," is now covered in that gray paint. It is now covered with other letters, and based on social media posts, will apparently be covered by a new logo, raising the question of who exactly is welcome at the Ohio State Newman Center. It has also come to my attention that Bishop Fernandez hopes, perhaps even plans, to hold meetings of Courage International at the Newman Center. Courage International is a Catholic group that promotes reparative therapy and conversion therapy. They argue that faithful Catholics should never attend same-sex weddings. They argue that by calling oneself gay or lesbian, one is embracing the quote-unquote gay or lesbian lifestyle. They are yet another ministry, they are yet another organization that promotes the mistaken belief that in order to be faithful Christians, LGBTQIA plus people must be celibate. They must live in chastity. Courage International is essentially a Catholic ex-gay group. When I came out and was still a member of the Roman Church, I had been referred by a well-meaning and well-intentioned high school teacher to Courage International. Out of respect for her, I tried to attend some of their sessions, listen to their materials, etc. They are a dangerous organization. More than just being an ex-gay group, more than simply being yet another group that utilizes pseudoscience and discredited research and misinterpretations of the Bible, Courage International promotes a philosophy of living and an ethic of living which is anti-woman, it is definitely anti-queer, and is rooted in a deeply misogynistic, sexist, heterosexist, and homophobic orientation to life and to living. The Diocese of Columbus should be doing everything in its power to make sure that courage never meets in this diocese, not welcoming it. I would love to be able, my friends, to stop every church from their harmful practices. I would love to be able to reach out to every church that is harming LGBTQIA plus people, that's harming any other marginalized person, and say, stop it now. Unfortunately, that's not within my doing. But I urge you to take action, to contact Bishop Fernandez, to contact members of the Evangelization Office of the Diocese of Columbus, to be in the know about what is happening. And for those of you outside of Central Ohio, I encourage you to look around at what's happening in your area. All too often, LGBTQIA people in the church suffer in silence. We are told to give the new priests a chance, give the new leadership a chance. And while everyone else is giving these people a chance, we are being shoved further and further back into the closet. Hear what is happening, know what is happening, and use your voice to help change what is happening. For people who are curious about how to get involved with what is going on at the Newman Center, first, I would ask you to pray, to send good thoughts and good light to the now displaced members of the resident community from the Newman Center, as well as many folks who have considered that their home, their parish, their haven as queer Catholics. There are ways via the Diocese of Columbus's website to get in touch with the bishop. Letters have been sent, information has appeared in the Columbus Dispatch, and more will soon. Love Boldly has written an open letter to the bishop, which will go out this week. Please join us. Please join me in praying for what is happening at the Newman Center and for advocating against it. If we cannot change what is happening at Newman, then let us make sure that Courage International and any other group like it never gains a foothold in our areas, in our churches, and in our homes. This has been The Christian Bear with Dr. Ben Hillscamp.